And when life knocked you down, jump back up and said, it's not over until I win.
What's going on, y'all? So it is actually the day after the marathon. I completed marathon number 22 of 2022 yesterday. I was going for a 4-hour pace. Was able to hit the 24-mile mark at hour 4, but then after that, those last 2 miles kind of got me, so my final time ended up being 4 hours and 32 minutes. But anyways, there's still plenty of time to get in more interval training and hopefully shave the rest of that time off. But let's get to the point of the channel, and that is to talk about benzo recovery. So as I mentioned before, I finally found a doctor that was going to be willing to do more of a long-term process for the tapering, which, like I said, it was a godsend. The schedule that we ended up agreeing on was cutting 2.5 milligrams every 2 weeks, which was fast, but I wouldn't have gone any slower. So the first couple of cuts, they weren't too bad. I did start to feel some increased anxiety, trying to adjust to life in rehab, getting used to this routine that they had, having to go to groups, having to be around so many freaking people all the time. Like, even when I was super outgoing on Klonopin, I still considered myself an introvert. Like, at that time, I was an outgoing introvert. But I kind of just, I had my few friends, but I just kind of like chilling by myself. And so being around people all the freaking time was really exhausting for me. And it definitely ended up getting more and more exhausting as the withdrawal symptoms started to creep up on me as the taper would go down, and we kept on going down in the dosage. I can't remember exactly when it started getting really, really hairy, like really into the thick of things. I want to say it was around month 3, because I remember there was a specific time where I was sitting in group and I could feel the tingling starting to creep up. You know, the spider senses were starting to go up, and I started experiencing derealization. Like where I was I wasn't in reality, and I wasn't safe in my surroundings, and I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. And you know, it was just that realization of, you know, this is, I'm here now. I know what happens to me when withdrawal kicks in to its fullest extent. And I'm here now with all these people, and there's no turning back, man. I think the hardest part about the rehab experience, I mean, the physical symptoms were relentless, don't get me wrong. Barbed wire intestines and extreme panic, that's not a joyous occasion. But the emotional aspect of it, to me, was almost worse, because I began to realize, like, I began to lose myself. I felt like I was becoming a shell of who I am, who I know I truly am. And the introversion and not being able to just relate with other humans around me was, it was just very isolating. And I would go and I would try to do things that normally were very easy and very fun for me. Like, I used to love going to my friend's house and we would record rap music, right? And I used to love hanging out with him. And I used to love recording music. Man, I tried to do that and withdraw. And my friend was like, he could tell, like, dude, something's off with this guy now. And I mean, I wasn't quick-witted anymore. I didn't have my personality. I felt like I was coming off as very dry and boring, and I couldn't catch my breath to record music. And you know, I would visit my girlfriend, and she lived right up the road from the rehab, and I would visit. God, this was painful. I would visit her, man, and she was used to the version of me who always had a joke, always had something smart-assy to say, and just natural flirt, right? But I wasn't that guy anymore, and it broke my freaking heart to be around her and not know how to be a human, not know how to interact with my own girlfriend. I remember there was a guy in the rehab facility that was trying to get me a job at Goodwill, and I used to be the most underqualified person in the building, right? But I could convince the manager that I was going to be running things in like 2 years' time just because I knew how to talk and exude. I don't know if I guess it was fake confidence. I don't know, man. I still don't know how much was me and how much was the pills or whatever. I don't know. But I used to rock out interviews. And when I went into this Goodwill interview, it was pitiful, man. And I really, walking out of that building, I really felt like my life was over. I could not answer the questions. I couldn't think properly. The anxiety was through the roof. All I could tell them was like, you know, I'm in rehab. I'm doing my best to get better. I have these withdrawal symptoms, and I can't really, I know I'm coming off really bad right now, and normally I'm awesome at these things, but and I just couldn't express it to him. Obviously, I didn't get the job. I did end up getting a job at a little Korean restaurant as a dishwasher, which originally they wanted me to be a line cook. And I can't cook, okay? So I got demoted to dishwasher pretty quickly. And even that was hard for me. It was hard for me to stay in a building because I know people use the expression, the walls are closing in. Okay, when I was inside of a building, it just literally felt like the fucking walls were closing in. And my body was constantly in fight or flight. And just constant out of body experiences and constant panic. I mean, having to grab my skateboard, leave from the rehab facility, skateboard through traffic and all the loud sounds and the beeps and horns, and just freaking out. Clock in, get yelled at by my manager as I'm floating out of my own body, never fast enough, could never do the work properly in their eyes. And I could not, the worst part about it was I could not crack jokes with my employees. Y'all don't understand how much that hurt me, man. I used to love working in a kitchen and cracking jokes with my coworkers. I mean, my state of mind was starting to get very, very bleak. I would listen, I'm not sure if y'all have ever heard the song. It's called 1-800 by the rapper Logic. He's basically just talking about suicide. And I used to listen to that song as I'd skateboard to work. And then I would have to, at least 2 or 3 times throughout my shift, man, I'd have to hide in the bathroom. And I just felt so alone. I mean, however, like I know this channel is called Goals Over Benzos. To my credit, I was still able to stay very goal-oriented in rehab. I woke up, I would do my 500 push-ups, I would go to group, I'd do my best to participate in group. I would do my best to, I became pretty introverted, but I always did my best to try at least to contribute to conversations in the facility. Not so much at work. I didn't give a damn about those people. But I tried to share in group. I was still skateboard. I used to be able to go up to random girls, right? And get their numbers very easily. It was just it felt like second nature. So I would skateboard and withdraw with skateboard up to random girls and try to get their numbers. I had pretty much lost all charisma, so I didn't get that many numbers. I got a few, but it was very, I would skateboard. My counselor used to call me Superman because he didn't really know how I was still doing what I was doing. It was just very important for me to do my very best and to cross out everything that I could on my to-do list. And it was this effort that everybody could see I was putting forth. That was the reason I was able to stay at the rehab for 6 months instead of 4. People began to, like that saying, people help those who are trying to help themselves. Sorry. Already getting choked up. People could realize I was fighting, and they wanted to give me the best shot that I could. And it was funny. I actually got a star. You know how they have like employees of the month. I got, I guess, patient of the month, and it was funny because they were having a group meeting, and the nurses that particular morning were late and giving me my dose that day. So I was starting to like really, really feel these withdrawal symptoms, and I was just like, look, somebody needs to do something about this. I am freaking out. Y'all need to give me my medication. So it was kind of like straight out of a movie. As the lady was announcing me as the star rehab patient, she was like, all right, and this month we have Justin Hazouri. And right on cue, man, right as she said that, I came running down the hallway, and I was like, if you motherfuckers don't give me my meds, I swear to God there's gonna be hell to pay. Anyways, I think you can tell like my energy is a little low because, for one, I ran a marathon yesterday, and 2, it is therapeutic talking about this sometimes, but reliving the loneliness of it is not something that I really want to do today. So we will continue next week.
And hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain.